I'm now going to read the vision given by our Lord Jesus Christ to Maria Valtorta on the 3rd of April 1944, the birth of John the Baptist. And if you want the context of this, as St. Luke tells us, the Blessed Virgin Mary visited St. Elizabeth. She travelled to St. Elizabeth. Well, the journey and the time she spent with St. Elizabeth before St. John the Baptist was born, you can look at my other videos to see how Maria Valtorta describes all that in detail. And I imagine you'll find it very edifying. This vision of peace descends from heaven amid the disgusting things which the world nowadays offers us. And I do not know how that can be, because I am like a little twig at the mercy of the wind in my continuous conflicts with human wickedness. It's so discordant with what lives within me. We are still in Elizabeth's house. It is a beautiful summer evening, still clear, in the last rays of the sun, and yet the sky is already decorated with a falcated moon that looks like a silver comma attached to a large, deep blue cloth. And I'll just interrupt for a moment. You just heard there describe the moon and the season. And that's just one aspect of of Maria Valtorta's giving us time clues throughout the poem of the Man God, which has enabled some Italian men to work out a timeline of events and with other data situating exactly in historical time when these particular events occurred. In fact, there's a book by a Frenchman, Jean Launier, which sets out every event of the poem of the Man God and gives it a date. Unfortunately, he apparently made an error in his calculations, and so though the sequence is correct, the actual year, the years that he's referring to are not correct. But anyway, to continue. The rose bushes give off strong perfume, and the bees, like humming gold drops, are making their last flight in the quiet, warm evening air. From the meadows, there's a strong smell of hay dried in the sun. It is almost like that of bread, of warm bread, just taken out of the oven. Perhaps it comes also from the many sheets hanging everywhere to dry, and which Sarah is now folding. Mary is walking with her cousin, linking arms with her. They go up and down very slowly under the semi-dark pergola. But Mary watches everything, and while taking care of Elizabeth, she sees that Sarah is ill at ease in folding a long sheet, which she's taken off a hedge. "Sit down here and wait for me," she says to her relative. And she goes to help the old servant, pulling the sheet to straighten it, and then folding it carefully. "They still smell of sun, they are warm," she says with a smile. And to make the old lady happy, she adds, "This sheet, after your bleaching, has become as beautiful as ever. You are the only one who knows how to do things so well." Sarah goes away, overjoyed, with her load of scented sheets. Mary goes back to Elizabeth and says, "Let us take a few more steps. They will do you good." And as Elizabeth is tired and does not wish to move, Mary says to her, "Let us go only to see if your doves are all in their nests, and if the water in their tub is clear. We shall then come back home." Doves must be the favourite pets of Elizabeth. When they're in front of the rustic tower, where all the doves are gathered, Elizabeth is deeply moved. In fact, the hens are in the nests and the cocks are in front of them, but neither of them move. Instead, they all start cooing loudly when they see the two women, a gentle form of greeting. Elizabeth is overcome by the weakness of her condition and by fears which make her cry. She expresses her fears to her cousin. If I should die, what will happen to my poor little doves? You will not be staying here. If you were to remain in my house, it would not matter if I died. I've had the greatest joy a woman can possibly have. The joy which I was no longer expecting to have. And I cannot even complain of death with the Lord, because he has overwhelmed me with his benignity. May he be blessed for it. But there is Zacharias. And then there will be the child, an old man who would feel as though he were lost in a desert without his woman. And the other is so small that he will be like a flower condemned to die of cold because he is without his mother, poor baby, without the caresses of his mother. The Blessed Virgin replies, "But why are you so sad? God has given you the joy of being a mother, and he will not take it away from you when it is full. Little John will receive all the kisses of his mummy, and Zacharias all the attentions of his faithful wife until the very end of his long life. You are two branches of the same tree. One will not die, leaving the other alone. You are good, and you comfort me, but I am so old to have a son. And now that I'm about to have one, I'm afraid. Oh no, there is Jesus here. We must not be afraid where there is Jesus. My child relieved your pain. You said that yourself when he was just a bud newly formed. Now that he's becoming more and more mature, and he already lives as my creature, I can feel in my throat the beating of his little heart, and I feel as if a little nestling with a light pulsating heart were resting on my throat. He will remove all dangers from you. You must have faith." "I have. But if I should die, don't leave Zacharias at once. I know that you're concerned with your own house, but please remain here a little longer to help my husband in his first days of sorrow." Mary replies, "I shall stay to take delight in your joy and in the joy of your husband, and I will leave you when you are strong and happy. But now be quiet, Elizabeth. Everything will be all right. Nothing will happen to your household while you are suffering. Zacharias will be served by the most loving maid, your flowers will be looked after, and your doves will be attended to, and you will find them all beautiful and happy to rejoice with when their loved mistress comes back. Let us go in now, because you're getting pale." "Yes, I think I am beginning to suffer again. Perhaps my time has come. Mary, pray for me." "I will support you with my prayer until your labour ends in joy."